Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Allayi on Endless. You may notice this is a little different than where we left off. I reloaded the game. I have not touched it. I reloaded the game and I just clicked on the battle notification. Apparently, loading the save caused the enemy units to get back all their movement points. They had already moved on the turn when I saved it, but then I loaded and they moved over to the city and attacked. So here we are, defending Gleka against the first Growth Vanguard. I'm actually pretty annoyed about this because, first of all, I was going to equip this hero before the battle, before hitting end turn, and also, you know, I was going to shift some of these monks over into this army. Yeah, this sucks, and I'm mad. Anyway, let's make with the defending. The little circle was tremendously in their favor, but remember, that little circle does not have anything to do with which units are better at fighting. It is just a measure of health. Look at all these very high health values on their units, and then of course they have a guardian as well. Speaking of units, where are the units? I see. Okay, fair enough. Oh, the ice is frozen over. Oh, this sucks, actually. Look at this. So if this were water, our reinforcement flag would be like over here or here somewhere. Because it's right here, our reinforcements are actually going to have to run up along the... because of the cliff faces, they're going to have to run up around here. Oh, I guess that's not that bad. For a lot of races, this would be a really big problem. For us, it's not so bad because all of our units either have a million move or can fly. All of our monks fly. So, this is actually not that big a deal. I am going to cede this soft ground around our capital and instead move back toward the reinforcement flag so we can fight as more of a group. So, one thing that has to be noted. The casualties, 72 damage, 57 attack. To compare. Oh, actually, I can't compare. Our good units haven't shown up yet. But basically, these guys are never going to do full damage. They're always going to do half damage or nothing. And half of their damage is a pretty sad amount. By comparison, this rider has 259 attack, 190 damage. This is, like, the only dangerous unit here. Their hero... Okay, their hero is similarly dangerous, and of course that guardian's going to show up, I'm sure. But basically what I'm saying is we can completely ignore these guys. Yep, there's that guardian. Alright, so it looks like I have the monks coming in first. I'm not sure if that's right. I'm not sure if that was optimal or not. I should have probably, you know, manually controlled the order of my reinforcements arriving, but whatever, this is what we did. So, I've talked a bunch about monks and how they're great, and how they're better troops than seekers, but I actually don't think I've had a monk involved in combat in this entire Let's Play series. So let's talk real quick. You're going to see a lot of numbers flying around. Talk real quick about shifting rage, because it's been a little while since we did that. Each consecutive attack increases attack and damage by 20%, and it deals damage to the target and opponents in a cone that extends one tile per stack of this buff, basically. So, monks, first of all, have better base damage than seekers, but they also deal damage to more opponents, and they get stronger as the fight goes on. These guys are just way better at killing people. And actually, I think they're very good units, just on the whole. As far as melee units go, obviously, I prefer ranged units a tremendously. Why didn't he counterattack? He counterattacked there. Oh! There was a cliff face? Maybe that's why he didn't counterattack? The flying unit can attack over the cliff. What is going on? Oh. All the casualties are just standing in a circle healing each other. Man, even if their stats were good, they wouldn't be threatening. Yeah, you show them 14 damage. I think they've probably got that under control. This guy's next. I don't usually go for the hero early. Wow, 285. That's a good thing we had some fortification to eat that damage. I don't usually go for the hero early, but the hero here is really disproportionately dangerous. Speaking of heroes, I sure hope my hero shows up soon. My good hero. Oh no, not 35 damage. Actually, that guy really needs to not get hit for 35 again. Oh no. Yeah, those guys took a lot of damage. They're actually totally gonna die. Yeah, I usually ignore heroes until the army's been depleted, but like once we remove these two units, and that's not necessarily going to be an easy task. Skoros does have 1,000,000 health. But once we remove these two units, the battle's effectively over because these guys are just not dangerous. All right. Wow, 265, not bad. Not bad work from our monks here at all. And you can see the monks that have been in combat the longest are projecting extra damage out onto nearby foes. An army that's composed entirely of monks does some pretty scary damage in rounds 2 and 3. Man, I don't know if I changed anything in my sound settings. These battle sounds are coming through in my headphones very, very loud. Much louder than usual, I think. Alright, guys, focus up. Come on, everybody on the dangerous target until it's dead. Except, yeah, the militia, I guess, can go be distractions. Alright. Our hero is finally here. Uh-oh, mind control. I don't actually know exactly what the rules are for that mind control. When we kill the... Yeah, you can see all that cone damage. When we kill the Guardian, does the mind control end? Or does the mind control always play out its whole duration? Oh, wow, we got counter-coned there. Although, the cone still did damage to the Guardian, I notice. Man, we had to leave him alive. He's got 111 health. So he gets another round of picking at us. Okay, so, obviously, this battle has gone fairly well on the whole. The Guardian will die this turn, and then it's just... that's interesting that he attacked the one that he mind-controlled. You would think that after the guy becomes mind-controlled, he stops being a priority target. Yeah, look at that. 200 damage to 3 different units. It looks like the way the cone is built, the initial hex of the cone is the hex that the monk is standing in rather than the hex in front of them, which is an interesting design decision. It's probably better that way, more powerful that way. Get him, Wild Walker's hero. Brave and powerful. We are actually in a position to lose some dudes here. That militia guy is in some danger. I guess it doesn't really matter because he's a militia, but... And of course our hero has the AoE attack, which is nice. Oh no! Failed to deal damage there. But yeah. So Pink's army is not the greatest army of all time. But we have to be careful. He's got a lot of these Cacators. We lost 4 monks there, actually. That kind of sucks. Like, this is not really that many casualties. I mean, we traded for a Guardian. Still, it's a bummer. We have to be careful because we had some kind of unacceptable losses there, man. Oh. Getting to the good skills on our hero, finally. You're out of move. You still have a little bit of move. Let's nip this in the bud right here. We're not going to be able to actually retrofit him with the city under siege. So that's why I didn't bother to upgrade his gear before engaging. Okay, so their hero's going to hit us once, and it's going to hurt. Let's fall back, though. These guys all have pretty poor move. Alright. 208. Jesus. Yeah, like I was saying, his army is largely composed of these useless jerks. But we have to remember, those riders are terrifying. And I don't know what the total composition of his army is. He could have a ton more of those guys. And then also we have to remember that red is slowly getting more hateful every turn. So we have to be concerned about the potential for a second front to open up at any moment. Alright, I think I should have pulled this guy back and told him to go find something else to do. That's interesting. Why did none of my units attack? Wow, 396 is fairly good. Alright, you should like run away. Don't die. You have 3 health. Okay, so we've repelled his initial attack. I believe we saw last video that Tenhelm was pretty weak, right? Tenhelm, yeah. Oh, but there's a ton of armies over here. Masuarim is going to get attacked for sure. You just keep working on your governance, sir. So, we need to... Oh, these Seekers aren't retrofitted all the way? Seeker 3. Oh, this was before we had Dust Armor, so they didn't have talismans, right? The Seeker 3s? Yeah. And I guess they must not have the good shields on either. Okay, well, we will retrofit this army next turn. I'd like to get a second army going, and obviously for that I will need a second army commander, but there's no sense in spending 1,000 gold on a commander when we don't yet have troops for them to command. Speaking of troops, where are we at on that? We have a couple of dredges here. We have a garrison full of dredges over here. I don't think we want to try to bring the dredges to bear, if only because they're not actually very strong. Yeah, 60 damage, 68 attack. And I don't think it's worth retrofitting them. We can just pump out monks, right? Yeah, Glagha doesn't have anything else to do. Monks. Okay, 10 turns is a lot. Better-ish. What about... Okay, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. We'll slowly replace... We honestly don't need Seekers. Maybe I should retrofit these guys for that reason. I prefer that the whole army be composed of monks, though. Honestly. I don't know that Seekers... a lot of the time when you're making a choice, there's some obvious trade-offs. I don't know that Seekers really offer anything to recommend them over monks. They're both melee. They both like to charge at people. It seems like the Seeker is basically just the monk, but slightly worse in a lot of different ways. Oh boy, what are these guys doing? See, okay, this is an army that's composed largely of riders. This army would actually be pretty scary. And I don't know where they're going. It might be Guiron. Let's merge these guys up and be ready. I mean, we have roads and stuff. It wouldn't take too long to move this garrison down to Guiron if it needs a little backup. So do we just attack this thing? I think those are out of range. Yeah, we're just gonna... Let's do it. Let's pick this guy off while he's weak. Nope, everything is in range. Well, at least they'll have to filter in slowly. Oh. Okay, so when your opponent advances an army like this, it is a good idea to attack the Guardian or the slower army or the weaker army, because we would have gotten, there's only 2 reinforcement flags, right? It would have taken 3 turns for this whole army to show up to the battle. 4 turns even. There's 7 units here. And by then, we could have had Neros dead. Whereas if we got in a battle with the Truth Vanguard directly, Neros comes in on the 2nd turn, and then we have all 8 of the units to worry about. So do try to pick your targets. I'm a little surprised that he retreated. Obviously, I'll take it. I'm not upset about that, but it was not what I was expecting. Okay, so we gotta hope that these monks... Oh, right. We're still out here pearl hunting, huh? That makes sense. Let's go get this big stack of pearls. So we still need to decide whether we want to pursue the faction quest. Do we want to spend all of those pearls? You know what? Here's something that I hadn't been thinking about, but actually is kind of important. Remember that one of the later steps in the faction quest gives you a trinket that you can equip on your monks that upgrades their shifting rage capacity. We might want to do that. We might want to pursue the faction quest just for that purpose. Shifting Rage 2, I don't know exactly what the difference is, but it should be significant. You know what, I am in fact going to retrofit them. Let's just try to be the best army we can be. Alright. So hopefully we don't have to worry about too much reinforcement from Tenelm. I'm hoping that most of the enemies will be coming from the west. It'll make things a lot easier if I'm only really on one... what is this? A list of your armies suffering from retaliation damage. Wait. My army? Oh! He has one of those retaliation towers right there. Ow! We took, less damage than our health regen, because this guy has more health than he did before. So do we want to attack him? Yeah, I think that this army is very clearly coming for us now. Oh! Oh, this border! Red and Pink are at war. Red just took this city. The reason this army was moving north was to participate in the defense of the city, probably, and now that the city's gone, they've turned around to fight us. Okay, that's potentially interesting. Hey, Red. You want to unite against this, this broken scum? Wow, no, you have no interest in doing that. How about open borders? No, not at all? Yeah, wow, 127 pearls makes, like, a dent. Okay. I was hoping to get open borders because open borders gives you a little bit of warning when they're going to turn on you and try to eliminate you. Okay, let's upgrade Strikes Far, give him some actual gear, and then we're gonna attack this. This Guardian. It won't run away again because running away at this point would be lethal. It has lost too much health already. I think we're going to go with shield. So how does this compare to the other stuff? 10 defense plus 20% health. 14 defense. So this actually is just straight up better than the tier 1. That's interesting. That's actually, I haven't gotten the tier 3 stuff that often. 36 attack, 34 damage. 59 attack, but only 32 damage. I'm comparing the right... Yeah, those are both one-handed swords. 36, 34, 59, 32. So it's interesting that the tier 3... Oh, right. The Titanium has boosted stats to make up for the fact that it has no initiative. So that's why it's competitive on damage with the tier 1 stuff. I have to think, honestly, that the tier 3 titanium and glass steel stuff should be a lot better than it is, just because it serves no purpose at all the way it is right now, right? Like, it's better than tier 2, but it's not better enough to be relevant if you have even one more level of tech. It's very unlikely you would ever want to use this stuff, especially since it's more expensive than the tier 2. Anyway. I do like the shield, though. I think we are going to give him the shield. I'll trade 4 defense for 5% health. Plus, it's nice looking. And then we'll just give him the basic... Oh. We actually don't have enough dust to give him more than this. Okay, that's fine. Alright. We're as ready as we're getting. Let's do it. Okay, so a bunch of riders. Half of these are Rider 2. Okay, the Rider 2s are not nearly as scary. There's actually only one of those really dangerous guys. These are still better units than the casualties, but they're much worse than the other riders. So actually, we only have to worry about the city reinforcements are all the good riders, and in fact, 121, 110. These are better eyeless ones as well. Okay, so the city's garrison is actually pretty live. We're gonna not bring in the Skyfin. So he's gonna have... He has 4 move. He'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll end up in one of these 2 spaces. And he does not have a ranged attack. He is melee only. So we just need to be in a place where he doesn't hit us on the first turn. And then we are going to bum rush him, and I am going to let the wounded guy lead, because he's going to... Look at his damage. 335 with 416 attack. He's basically guaranteed to do 1.5 times damage. He's going to hit somebody for 500. It may as well be the guy who only has 50 health, right? Okay, and the AI, for no reason at all, did not bring in any reinforcements, so we just get to pick this guy off for relatively free. Oh no, my morale, right? Morale changes initiative for Allayi. I forgot about that. I always forget about that. So actually, it looks like we're maybe not going to do enough damage to kill him. Yeah. Alright. So one more unit is going to die. That is actually kind of a huge bummer. Oh, and he gets to pick, too. Please pick the low health guy. Alright, well, one of the low health guys. Okay. So we lost 2 units there. That's a bummer. We're getting lots of free levels for our governors, though. So, as long as he's an Allayi in charge of a completely Allayi army, I actually don't think it's worth getting this. Let's just pick up more damage, right? We'll have to make sure his army stays all Allayi. If we want to bring in dredges or something, we should do that with a different hero. One who will want to get cold operator. So hey, every other city in my empire, how are all those reinforcements coming along? How long would it take to build one here? 18 turns, okay. Never mind. What about in Guiron? A lot of turns. But we could shorten that. Yeah. Okay. Just keep pumping them out. Do we have a watchtower base around here that we could construct a convenient retaliation tower on? No, not really. They're all in places that are not great for that. Huh. Oh well. Oh, so am I going for the faction quest? Yeah, I think so. We still need... We have 2 wards of Auriga, so we still need 4 more, which is 120 pearls right there. Plus, we need to build all of the defensive towers. The cost of all the defensive towers combined, though, is not really that high. It's only a little bit more than 1 ward. So I guess we prioritize the construction of the ward. The value of the ward is based on our fortification value, so we'll also want to get some fortification tech, probably. That's just a good idea if you're going to be at war anyway. We don't need to have 256 gold per turn, or dust per turn. And Gleka's busy. What are we doing over here? Dust Orchid Extractor. Yeah, that's reasonably important. Go ahead and keep working on that. Speaking of resources... Yep, it is just now time to get the wine back on. 87. Alright, well... Next turn we'll be able to... Oh no, we don't, right, we don't gather winter... Or we don't gather resources from our extractors during the winter. It's kind of a bummer. Alright, this army is way more dangerous than the last two, even though those riders aren't as good as the other riders that we've seen. Oh yeah, you guys get to have a nice simple job that I'm sure you'll complete. Nice to have these little comforts in times of war. The winter is 4 turns longer. Now, I want to say something real quick on that subject. Monks are not as good during the summer, like really not as good. Their thing stops triggering on attacks and starts triggering only on counterattacks, and it raises their defense instead of their attack. It does still raise their damage. So we may actually end up picking up the shape-shifting blessing so that we can go dark whenever we think we're about to be engaged in combat. Because really, it's a big difference. Okay, so we need... I think we have all of the relevant military technology. Everything that makes our armies better directly is researched. So, what do we need? We still don't have the ability to make gear out of mithrite. And we do have enough mithrite that we could do some of that. We also could research unexpected allies to give us some defense against the spying that's going on. We are losing population. We also could get fortification tech. There is a fortification tech, right? Yeah. 200 fortification on city. This might be the way to go, actually. Especially with the wards. Yeah, I think we really do want our cities to be better defended. Alright, so this is a monk getting completed here. I'm going to try to pop this guy out of the city and run him down to... Ah, no. No. Travel quickly. Go with more fastness. Oh, wait, actually. Go this way. Don't get adjacent to him. Yep, and pink is spying in Maswaram, which we already knew. Red has 50% of the colonized regions. Yeah, I have no trouble believing that. We do have to think about land as well. This is kind of a tricky problem. If Red's fighting pink and obviously winning, because we know they're still gaining provinces, that means that Red is actually most likely to win the game. And I don't think that we should expect to see an expansion victory. Again, if you have that many regions, it's much faster to just pound out a scientific or economic victory than it is to actually expand enough to win the expansion. But, we have to be careful not to let... Like, if Red took Raknal, that would be really bad, because it would be the start of Red curling around us, and then Red would be free to take the entire rest of the landmass. Actually, it looks like Red already owns 3/4 of the landmass. So I kind of need Pink to leave us alone right now, actually, and focus their efforts on not losing the war to Red, and then we need to declare war on Red. I don't suppose there's any chance, now that we've decimated your armies, that you'd be willing to go to a truce? That's interesting that peace was on here, and it was positive. He was like, yeah, I'd do peace. He's interested in peace, not willing to do a truce. If we burn another one of his armies, maybe take a city, we might be able to get a truce out of him. Because right now our efforts need to be refocused on Red. This army is far enough away that I don't imagine it would be getting any reinforcement if we were to attack it right now. But I'm not 100% sure that we'd win. We're still kind of injured and not numerous. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, I could actually run the hero over here and pick them up, right? Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I had to run adjacent to Pink's army in order to do that. That was maybe not ideal. I will say that I kind of wish our hero had flying. Oh, you know what? There is a flying hero. I do not usually play a lot of flying units, just sort of blind luck. Like, the Necrophages have a perfectly fine flying unit, the Draken have a perfectly fine flying unit. I just haven't had a lot of flying units, and so I don't know for sure how good that flying hero is, because that's kind of the only situation where you'd pick him up. He doesn't have the greatest capacities either for governorship or for commanding of an army. But in an army of all flying dudes, he lends a significant amount of mobility just by allowing your army of flying guys to fly over cliffs and stuff the way they can if they don't have a commander. Alright. So we almost have an army. In another, like, 3 turns, this is going to be a real army. Although, obviously, we're really, really looking to get... Is he headed for Guiron? What on earth are these guys doing? I'd like to delay actually fighting them for as long as they'll let me, but I really do not understand what his plan is here. And obviously, let's continue to collect pearls. So we need to find time to build the ward in other cities. I guess Jamaj can do it as soon as it's done with what it's doing now. It's not vital right this second, because it's going to be a little while before we can afford to do it in Gleka or Renar anyway. Actually, speaking of affording things, what would it cost to buy a monk right now? 1463. Okay, that's something I'd really rather not do. Also, out of curiosity, what's a ward run? 1001. That's not too bad, actually. I'm trying to think. Is there something I need to be doing? Let's make sure that our monk design is reasonably modern. Ooh, it's really not, actually. These should definitely be fixed. Okay. Retrofit. And cancel monk 2. Add monk 3. It's a little bit slower build. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna be ready to chase them. Maybe they're waiting out winter? I don't know if the AI is smart enough to think that way. They might just be going for Guiron. That might be all this is. Because remember, they're not very fast in the winter. Or no, they're going east. Where on earth are you going? Okay. It's going to be expensive to fix up these monks. Yeah, I just have no idea. Alright, I didn't want to move adjacent to him until we had the security of everybody being nearby. At this point, we can take him, I think. I'd prefer to let everybody heal, though. I guess the further he pulls us away from the city, the more danger we're in. Yeah, we have support from Guiron, but I can't really afford to heal or to set this hero up any better at the moment. We do have the dredges. So he has 4 okay riders and 1 good rider, and then 2 bad Kikators, versus what is theoretically a reasonably modern and effective army. Yeah, let's go for it. He's not getting any backups, so... Oh, that is a spectacularly bad play from them. I would go so far as to say spectacularly bad. Alright, well, you know this game. We're going to mash the heck out of the jump this nerd button as we hit end turn. They will not flee again, because to do so would be instantly fatal. They will instead fight us, and we will kill them because they have half health because they retreated for no reason. Can you believe this is the AI that I've been losing to? Oh. But it became summer. Shift to dark form and then attack them. There we go. Oh, I didn't shift my hero. It doesn't matter. The shift was not terribly cheap. I'm really like, I hope you guys understand. I'm not being silly. The difference in effectiveness is huge. His guys are not actually at half health. He, of course, is a Broken Lords player, and he just bought them all back up. So I can't see... Alright, none of the spaces around the city are orange. The shape of my starting area is really strange because there's a city in it. So what if we played all the way back on these little peninsulas? We can use the natural bottlenecks to control how many of them we're fighting at once. Sort of answered my own question there. It would at least limit the amount of damage they can do on this initial blitz. Alright, so you go first. He could ride in either direction. Alright, here's the... This one. This one's the dangerous one. Alright, we are all just gonna attack this guy. This guy is the biggest priority. Okay, hopefully we won't take too much damage from the Rider 2s. Oof, 247. Well, I'm kind of glad that was an injured guy. Okay, good work. That's the most dangerous enemy down. Now we just have to not get flattened too badly by these guys and their life drain and their shenanigans. Okay, I think this is going to be a pretty successful battle. No, don't split your damage. Why would you run over next to this guy and then not hit him? For what purpose? So here we have the terrible units from the city garrison. They will contribute very little, I suspect. We just have to make sure everybody has strict orders to attack the targets that make sense to attack and not the dumb eyeless ones in the back. Yeah, so he's got a large army, but it's not modernized, which is curious. I wonder if he's having resource problems. You could have moved a lot more than one space there, buddy. Alright, so what did we lose? 1 unit there? Was it just the one? That's not too bad. So we've flattened quite a number of this guy's units, including a Guardian. Or 2 Guardians. We killed the Dust Guardian and the Water Guardian, that's right. And we've taken comparatively few casualties. I guess we did lose an entire army worth of monks, right? And all this combat is giving my city governors some much needed XP, so that's good. Okay. Red's got a huge stable of powerful heroes, good to know. Do you have anything left in the tank? Yes. You, in fact, can totally just move back to the city. Alright, borough government's good. I mean, once we actually buy the structures. We could try to make alliances instead of peace. Alliances are a little bit interesting because they give you influence bonuses for fighting a common enemy. And so that might be enough to maybe tempt Red. Maybe. Possibly. What do we need? 3 more? Yeah. Additionally, we have some stockpile tech. We could get more stockpile tech, make our stockpiles even more valuable. Since we have the ability to buy them from the market and everything. We do still need weapons tech. We probably do want metal foundry. We don't need it right this second, but we do probably want it. Also, we want food techs. So, what gets prioritized right now? Let's pick this up because this is something I know for sure that I really want. Alright, and who's finished building what? Oh, Gleka. New monk. Cool. Alright, replace the guy who just died. There we go. So it's 4 pearls per unit per turn to shift. That's very expensive. Prohibitively expensive to do frequently. Or, oh, it's probably it's 1 pearl per level per unit per turn. Those guys are level 4 because we produce level 4 units on account of, I know, those guys are level... Well, okay, the 4 cost is for shifting this level 4 guy. So yeah, I feel pretty confident that that is in fact the formula. It's interesting. I guess it makes a lot of sense, because otherwise shifting would be either... If shifting was a flat cost, it would be either very expensive in the early game or trivially cheap in the late game. Alright, so next turn we will have... In a couple of turns we'll have enough die to pop the die booster and push us into Fervent. We're at Happy, despite the fact that this says 90%. I assume because this is rounding up from 89 point something. Okay, so... We have 2 more monks coming next turn. The army will be up to 8 actual units, and then I think we probably try to take Tenelm, maybe? Taking Tenelm might be enough to break his concentration a little bit. Plus, Tenelm has an extra source of Dust Orchid. And it looks like already constructed cargo docks, so that's nice. We would definitely build a cargo dock if we owned the city, so... Ah! Red's coming up on a tech victory. I mean, it makes sense. How is this city doing now? She doesn't really need 10 more approval. Let's start climbing towards something else. There's not really anything else that's relevant to her governing here. Yeah, let's pick this up. So the region that the city is in will now provide increased regeneration to our units. It's probably not a huge difference, but it is a difference. Alright, so you need to pop this guy out. You just this one. I do not want those other ones. They do not belong in the army. Okay. So now this army is going to prepare to march south. We're going to take Tenelm, hopefully. We're going to see if we can make Pink give up on this foolish notion of doing battle with us as equals. Oh, this army's not all the way... Yep, there's a monk in here that was not the correct build. Okay. Renard needs something to do. Yeah, one turn to get a dust refinery, definitely. And then I guess more monks. We're probably going to need them, right? I can't imagine that this is going to be sufficient to fight this whole war. Alright, well, and this is a little bit shorter than a normal episode, but I'm afraid I'm a little bit of a real-life time crunch today, so this is going to be the end of this episode. We only covered like 7 turns. I apologize. Come back tomorrow. We'll continue to prosecute a war against an opponent who could defeat us if he would just smarten up a little bit. We'll see you then.